Board members, it's good to see you. And guests, welcome. Another virtual board meeting. And this is going to be a public hearing as we start this off, May 12th. So we're going to go ahead and start our meeting. Want to mention something, and I'll do this when we have our regular meeting as well. Again, I'd like to welcome everybody, and like to read the statement that actually Lynn put together for us. It's really, really good. On March 30th, Governor Ducey announced that Arizona schools would be closed for the rest of the school year due to COVID-19 health crisis. In early April, when our state's stay-at-home order was issued, governmental functions, including school board, governing board meetings, were exempted from the order. While it is legal to have in-person school district governing board meetings, PUSD is choosing to exercise safe distancing for our meetings by using virtual meeting platform. The following will be rules we are using for meetings. We are using Zoom to conduct our meetings. We'll be streaming live to YouTube, which allows for members of the public to view and or listen to the meeting. Prior to the COVID situation, the governing board had a call to the public on its agendas during regular meetings, which allowed members of the public to address them on issues within the jurisdiction of the board. We'd like to provide a method for public comments during our virtual meetings. Members of the public may submit public comments via email to comments@pageud.org. That's comments@pageud.org. No later than Monday by 5 p.m., the day before each regular meeting. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent possible. We apologize in advance for any inconveniences that this may cause and ask for your patience as we navigate in these unprecedented times. This is really intended for the regular meeting, but I wanted to put it out front as well as we begin our public hearing portion of the meeting this evening. So I'd like to have a roll call to start us off, and let's start with Sandra at home.
Hi, Bob. Sandra.
Hello, Sandra.
I'm trying to find the meeting on YouTube, but it's not pulling up, just for your information.
We'll let Brian know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Desiree Fowler, board clerk.
Ed Franklin.
Microphone. Okay, that was Dee McCary. And this is Bob Candelaria. Also got Rob Varner.
Superintendent Varner.
Thank you. And Lynn Hoffman, the executive assistant to the board. So again, welcome everybody. And so for this public hearing, we have one intent, and that's a presentation of budget revision number 2 to annual expenditure budget for 2019-2020. Binja Werhande, you are up.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
Members, today, I welcome you all. Today, we'll be looking at the budget revision number 2 for fiscal year 20. And I'm going to share my screen with you. First up, we'll be looking at the general budget limit that shows us a, that shows us a decrease in our general budget limit of about 80,663. This is due to our revenue control limit being a lower number than our revision 1. This is due to the reduction in our student count. And our DARA and M&O looks the same. Our tuition income is higher than our revision number 2 because we have captured some of the special education services we provided to our Kane County students. Budget balance carry forward remained the same. Prop 123 allocation increased a little bit due to state reallocating some funds. Moving on to this is our M&O budget distribution. If you look at, we've captured the decrease in our budget limit of 80,000 under the purchase service line item. That's how you see the decrease of our budget from 2.2 million to $2.1 million. That's the main highlight of this slide. And if you move forward, looking at our impact aid budget distribution, here you'll see that our total budget limit increased from $7 million to $12 million from revision 1 to revision 2. This is due to the new allocation we got for fiscal year 20. That was about $6 million that we received in our impact aid budget. This is why we're showing a total dollar of $12 million. We've captured these monies under our purchase services and showed that's why we see a $1.3 million it increased from $1.3 million to $5.1 million. We are holding this money to carry forward as a reserve to the fiscal year 21. In our district additional assistance, this is used to be called our capital outlay. Here there are not many changes, only the interest earned in the prior year is what I've added, and the expenditure we've used in capital has increased a little bit from 495,000 to 497. The overall we show an increase of $13,000, 322 from revision 1 to revision 2. If you look at the distribution of our district additional assistant expenses, compared to revision 1, the only change is we've purchased some textbooks and we've allocated $15,000 towards that expense, and our construction, there was some spending towards our construction. So that's where the changes in this slide, but the total overall is showing a 761,274.
Vindy, I'm sorry, I probably should have talked to you beforehand. With the purchase services, what we see an increase of about 3.8 million. Now, is that just a marker? Or are those already designated funds that we will be using in 2020, or will we have discretion?
So are you talking about the impact aid budget?
Yes.
Yes. So we have allocated most of the $6 million towards to be used as reserves to be carried forward.
Okay, so they're a marker and we can use those.
For fiscal year 21, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for that question. And if we move to our classroom site fund, you see we have our prior year budget at $2 million and prior year expenses at $911,000. Budget balance carry forward is about $1.1 million. And the change here is that I've added the prior year interest earned of $12,266. And the new money we got for fiscal year 20 is $1.3 million. And available budget for fiscal year 20 is $2.5 million. And our estimated expenses for fiscal year 20 is $1.2 million. And we'll have an ending cash balance of just over $1 million. And we are approximately spend about have budgeted about $7,100 per teacher. And under special projects here, I apologize. I had to make an adjustment to the CARES Act funding estimate due to some of the most recent guidance we received. So on your budget worksheet, page 6, I've adjusted the CARES Act funding from $680,000 to about $420,000 due to the guidance we received to say that we will only be getting about 70 to 75% of the Title I allocation. So that adjustment was made before after the board docs were uploaded. So I apologize for making that change. So there we have, in total, we'll have federal projects at $3.3 million and state projects at $52,400. Food services still remain at a budget of $1.3 million. Career technical education at a $760,000. A building renewal grant of about $492,538. So, and that ends my presentation. Any questions for me today?
Board have anything for Vindy? Okay, I think, Vindy, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate-
sir.
Appreciate that.
Have a great day. Thank you.
At this point, we'll adjourn the public hearing at, I've got 5:15. And we're going to go ahead and move right into our regular meeting, May 12th. Governing Board for Page Unified School District number 8 will convene our meeting at 5:15. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and extend this invitation as part and parcel of our normal board agenda. When we're all together, we've always given opportunity to the public to make comment. And again, with no requirement for the board to respond, but at least to make comment. And so we, in this statement, want you to understand that we do want you to comment if you have a comment to make to the board. And so let me go ahead and read this statement again. On March 30th, 2020, Governor Ducey announced Arizona schools would be closed for the rest of the school year due to COVID-19 health crisis. In early April, when our state stay-at-home order was issued, governmental functions, school board meetings were exempted from the order. While it is legal to have in-person school district governing board meetings, PUSD is choosing to exercise safe social distancing for our meetings by using virtual meeting platform. The following will be the rules we're using for our meetings. We are using Zoom to conduct our meetings, and we'll be streaming live to YouTube. And I don't know if Brian is listening in. Lynn, do you know where Brian is, by the way? Because Mrs. Kidman said she couldn't find it on YouTube. It's on there now?
Yeah, I
Okay.
seen it. It's on there.
Okay, good. So Sandra, did you hear that? I guess it was put on. Prior to the COVID situation, the governing board had a call to the public on its agendas during the regular meetings, which allowed members of the public to address them on issues within the jurisdiction of the board. We'd like to provide a method for public comments during our virtual meetings. Members of the public may submit public comments via email to comments@pageud.org no later than Monday by 5 p.m. Somebody's got their mic on somewhere. Anyway, once again, public comments can be sent to comments@pageud.org no later than Monday by 5 p.m., the day before each meeting. And we will go through those and we'll announce those as appropriate. All of the meeting procedures will adhere to the board adopted procedures to the extent possible. We apologize in advance for any inconveniences that this may cause and ask for your patience as we navigate in these unprecedented times. So I'm going to call this meeting to order and we'll start with a roll call. Can you start us off, Ms. Kidman?
Yep, Sandra Kidman here.
Desiree Fowler, board clerk.
Ed Franklin. Rob Varner, Superintendent. Unmute Bob.
Item B, please join us in a moment of silent meditation. Thank you very much. And I do notice that our new superintendent's in the room. We're going to ask him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Wallen, would you do us the honors, please? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. We've got an action item, approval of this evening's agenda. Need a motion and a second, please.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Lynn, can you see us all doing that?
I can't because he has me running the meeting, so I see it on the delay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I think we were unanimous that we're going to approve the agenda.
Can I just give you a thumbs up? You did the motion, Dee did the second.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you. We've just started opening up for comments and announcements. We do not have any for this evening. Special business donations made to the district. This is an action item. I'll read the donations and I'll ask for a motion in a second to accept. Check in the amount of $350 donated by Robin Scarmazzo to the McKinney-Vento Backpack Program. Check in the amount of $100 donated by Daria Springman to the McKinney-Vento Backpack Program, and a check in the amount of $400 donated by Gary and Chris Worley to the McKinney-Vento Backpack Program. This is an action item. Need a motion and a second.
I make a motion to approve the donations.
So we have a motion by Dee and a second, motion by Des and a second by Dee. Any comments before we go on with this? I'd just like to say, appreciate all those donations. McKinney-Vento does a great work throughout the year, but during this time, it's I call it McKinney-Vento on steroids, and those guys are doing a phenomenal job. So we do have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye, and raise your hand, thumb, or whatever it is. Okay, thank you. We have a special recognition, and we have, I believe there's 5 individuals that are retiring. One has already retired, and we didn't get the opportunity to appropriately say thank you and goodbye. And that was Susie Atathali. But we have 5 incredible people that'll be leaving the district. And I know, Rob, you're on this line item. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, I worked with all the retirees very closely. I want to thank Tanya, of course, for looking out for Jonathan for the last 5 years. He was a real support for him. And so thank you so much, Tanya. And of course, my colleagues, Kathy and Rich, 5 years working together, phenomenal individuals, and we'll miss them greatly. So, and I kind of sort of know the first guy on that list, so don't want to talk too much about him, but looking forward to spending time with the grandkids.
All right, I'll say what we're looking at is 69 years of commitment to Page Unified School District from these employees. Any board members have something they would like to say about anybody in particular?
I personally would like to. I noticed my mic is not hooked up. Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So I just wanted to say thank you to Tanya Wright. We appreciate all the years and the commitment that you have done for the students at Page High School, working with them to get them graduated from Page High School. And really, I just appreciate all that you have done and the years that you have put in, and also what a successful program it has been for the transition department.
Any other board member?
I would, Bob. I'm just going to start off the top of the list and say thank you And let's start now with Mr. Varner. There's been a whole lot of bumps in the road, and I know there's a whole lot of challenges and everything else. And I would like to say to him and the whole team, thank you for all those endeavors and to getting us to this point. And we owe them, the whole team, a debt of gratitude.
Thank you, Ed. Sandra, you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I would like to thank all retirees. This is one of my favorite meetings of the year. Usually we get to mingle and thank them personally. Unfortunately, we can't do that this year, but I appreciate every one of them for all their contributions that they've made, especially to our children and our children's lives. And I want to thank Dr. Varner for his 5 years of service. We really appreciate it.
Okay, good. Anybody else? I just like to say that I appreciate every one of them. I will have to apologize that I don't know Susie Hatathali, but anyone that works with preschool and with the elementary school for 21 years has come in with one intent, and that's to help kids. And so Susie, thank you very much. 21 years of great service to Page Unified School District.
Bob, can I interrupt you?
Yes.
Susie Hatoffley was also at Lakeview as well too, in the middle
Okay.
of all of this. So she definitely has done her duties there as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Desiree. Tanya Wright, I'm not going to say a whole lot about her other than, man, I love her, her family. I got an opportunity to coach their son in baseball. And one memory I have of Tanya, you know, they have rails outside of dugouts. You sit there, you watch your players play. Whenever we'd go on the road, Tanya would be right on the rail and she'd be telling me how I was supposed to coach the team. So I appreciate that a whole lot, Tanya. But no, Tanya is a rock star and have appreciated everything she's done for Page High School for the 23 years. Rich Van Nostrand, man, he came into a tough spot at Desert View and it took him a few months and then settled things out in a year at Desert View to get a staff moving in a good directions. And I know Richard and his family, they're going to enjoy their next adventure because that's what that family does. And so thank you very much, Richard. And Kathy Erickson, man, 15 years as Lakeview principal. I've seen you day in, day out fight for those kids and work with your staff to try to be better. And I appreciate that very much. The only negative thing I have to say about you, Kathy, is that you married Kirby. He was an official on the baseball field, and I never liked him. So you can tell him I said that. And Rob Varner, some would say that we were married at the hip. But I will tell you, what you always want to do is keep your enemies close to you. So that's all I'll say about that. Rob came in with a charter, and he took us a good way on that path. But the minute that he got to town, his family became a vital part of the whole community. And so they were completely involved, totally involved in the lifeblood of Page. And so I want to just extend that appreciation to Rob and Christy and the whole family. And Jonathan, my gosh, what a great kid. And like I said, their kids will continue to achieve as they move on. So we wish all of these people nothing but the best. And again, thank you so much. Next section, reports, governing board reports. Let's go ahead and go around the room if anybody has anything they would like to say. Sandra, you're up. You're up first.
How come I'm always first today? But that's okay. I don't have much to report. And I want to appreciate all the people in food service that have delivered so many meals to our kids all over the place. It's really phenomenal. Also, I want to thank all the teachers that are constantly reaching out to our students. If you have your phone number on file, like we would hope every parent does, the communications that have been going out, outstanding. I mean, I don't know how you could not know what's going on because unless you don't have the phone number on there. But I'm hoping that people will, continue to advertise on Facebook and get their contact information on our records, because that's the way to stay updated and know what's going on. So I just want to appreciate all those efforts. I think that they're doing a great job.
Thank you, Sandra. Next, Ms. Desiree.
All right, well, much appreciation to each of our teachers and paraprofessionals who have been helping and getting things rolling, especially for Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you for your endless dedication to our children. So I just pretty much translated what I said in English and Navajo. And then also our chapter officials and those that are helping with food services, getting food delivered and getting food out to our children, students out on the reservation here in Page. Thank you. And I just want to say, chapter officials, but no sini ba heta ni zin ka chinen zini kon chiang ba bakan daswa kakan daswa so kwaiki chiang not ni hiki. So I just translated that also in Navajo. And then I just wanted to translate what Sandra just said about getting our families, making sure that their phone numbers are definitely on current with our school district. Amado ajada no sinit ashoden class chine baos kaigi besin da hosne do besin da hosne. Di kwaigi Page Unified School District because aniki ashonde bich in da hosne edo da not the kid how long go da in class chine the teacher Ada bich in the hosne Edo da kwaigi Page Unified School District has ani da Edo da se class chine da kwaigi de a bich in the hosne quite out and shonon class chine but they in the little because they da needs to know that need done kitty ne so he had in school on class chine and about the hosne so a Hawande. So just translated, parents, guardians out there to continuously keep in touch with teachers, if not schools. And also thank you for taking care of our students at home, and hopefully they're being successful. But more importantly, thank you. And I appreciate what Rob, Larry, and also Lynn has been doing here as well too. So much appreciation to everyone that is continuously keeping the ball rolling here at the district. Yeah.
Well said. I really appreciate that, man. That was awesome. Thank you so much for that, Des. Mr. Franklin.
Yes, sir. Once again, just going to say thank you to all of our team members on with the current situation with this virus and how we've been so supportive of the students and trying to get everything done. To not say thank you to the whole team would be a big miss for me and out there. And I really do appreciate that. I know that's a whole lot of work. And I'm going to tell you also, I was calling our superintendent here a couple of days ago. And when I made the phone call, it was like, give me a quick brief. I'm on the road. I'm about to pass out meals and everything else, and that was, that was nice to hear. I know he's got a busy schedule, but making time to do that personally still means a whole lot. And I know that does to the community also. So I'd like to thank our superintendent for that also.
Thank you, Ed. Ms. McGarry.
Yes.
It says mute. You can hear me.
We can hear you.
Okay. Just wanted to say thank you to our superintendent for the coordination effort with his staff, the communities, of a job well done, and undertaking the big task of what was desired by the State Department. The food delivery, trying to get volunteers out in the field, and a coordinated effort with our staff as well. Also, kudos to the teachers for taking the time to come back and do the educational packet and give them out to their students. I think they did a tremendous job in getting this undertaking, and thank you, staff, very much.
Thank you, Dee. I appreciate that. You know, that you can't say enough about what all the board members have said. I mean, those things are very, very important. I think I saw probably an old report, and I think Rob corrected me when I read that we've handed out over 28,000 meals. And Rob, you said there's more than that now. How many? 30?
Yeah, I think we're tipping about 35,000.
35,000 meals.
And that number's growing by the day. And then you throw in the awesome work of our folks out there donating, and the USDA applications, and folks from Phoenix and around the country that are converging on the Navajo Nation with donations, and doctors and things like that. The nation's really come together for the Navajo people, and it just warms my heart to see that. And of course, we've done well with the online Google Classroom and packets that went out. Those won't be happening again as we're getting our seniors to the finish line. I think we're going to have about 167 seniors graduating today, about a 95% rate if things should hold true. So I think I just took your board time there, Bob. I'm sorry for answering that question, but back to you, and then you send it back to me.
No, that's fine. I appreciate that. And yeah, I was going to note that just what a great job the high school has done, and Ann Martin, her team, also to ensure every student knows where they stand. And that's not just the seniors, all of our students, where they stand, where they're going to be next year, and so that they have no question about it. And just a challenge to all of us is to constantly remember the challenges we have in front of us. And that's just the fact that we need to advocate where we can for this online presence. So those are some of the things that we'll look forward to as well. Thank you, board members. Superintendent's report.
Yeah, 1984, my adventure started in education. I signed my first contract in Cartwright. So been around for 36 years in education and seen a lot of changes, and a lot of good people out there, a lot of advocates. So I want to thank all those folks, first of all. Graduation right now is looking at June the 6th, around 4 o'clock. There's some documents out there on our Facebook page and those kind of things. I heard a rumor today that they may extend the weekends on the Navajo Nation. I haven't seen anything official yet, but the secondary date is June the 20th. So you know, we got things to work out. Of course, we want our Navajo students there. About 50% of the graduating class of 2020 are just south of us, so we definitely want to accommodate them as best as we can. So right now it's June 6th. The secondary date is the 20th. I had a conference call with Superintendent Hoffman today, about 30 minutes before I came in here, talking about reopening of schools. There's a lot of questions to be answered still, and a lot of guidance that we need, and particularly from our legislature. We're talking about financing, holding us harmless with our financials, the 100th day ADM. So a lot of planning going in place, and I want to thank the team for working on the staffing. Vindy, if you're out there, thank you so much. Terry, been a big help, and bouncing some things off of Larry over there, and just looking at the CARES Act and the reimbursement through our cost for the COVID-19, because we accrued some additional cost with that. So there's a lot of unknowns out there. Working with other superintendents around the state, brainstorming some ideas, because you have to have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D on opening of a school, what it may look like, what it may not look like. students wearing masks to schools, social distancing, all those kind of things that we'll have to take in consideration. But a lot of planning going in. We got a lot of teachers and others that volunteer to be on groups to help us brainstorm some ideas to go forward. And of course, we have the internet issue, Wi-Fi issue that we have to overcome as well. So a lot of thinking going through the process, a lot of meetings, a lot of talking. So we'll get there. We'll come up with a great plan. So thank you all. Thank you for kind words for my retirement. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barner. No unfinished business. The next point on our agenda item, our agenda is consent agenda. And Des, would you please read the statement concerning the consent agenda for us?
Definitely. A copy of the consent agenda is available at the district administration office. All items listed will be considered as a unit by the governing board and will be approved with one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items unless a board member requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item.
Okay, thank you very much, Des. This is an action item. I'll take a motion in a second, please. Okay, I don't know if your microphone was on or not, but that was Dee McCary.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Okay, motion and second by Ed Franklin. All in favor, say aye and thumbs up. Aye. Okay, thank you very much. It passes. The next thing we've got on our agenda, let's see where I'm at here. Calendar of events. I didn't see an attached calendar. I wouldn't imagine we have a whole lot of things on that. Did you publish one for us, Lynn, or not?
I did not.
Okay, well, we're day to day right now with our calendar with some of the things going on at the school for sure. So we won't get into that unless anyone has something that they have in mind to bring to the board's attention. Okay. Our additional agenda items. We heard a presentation of revision for the budget for 2020 and 2021. This will be an action item, adoption of second budget revision. So I'll need a motion and a second, please.
I make a motion to approve the adoption of the second budget revision for the 2020 through 2021.
I'll second that motion.
It's just for clarification, it's 2019, 2020.
I'm sorry,
The budget revision for the year
20?
2019.
2019, 20. Okay, I've got it 220, 221 in my notes. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, and it was 1920 in the first one. So that's my fault. So I amend that. So we are doing it for 19 and 20. So thank you very much. So we do have a motion and a second. Any comments? Okay, none. All in favor say aye and raise the thumb.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good. Thank you. Got some exciting news, I think, and these next items will be action items. Hiring of Desert View Intermediate Principal Mary Stahl for the 2020-21 school year. This is an action item. I'll need a motion in a second, please.
I'll make the motion to approve the hiring of Mary Stahl at Desert View Intermediate for the 2021 school year.
Thanks, Ed. I need a second. Dee seconded that motion. Thank you, Dee. Any comments, Rob?
Very excited to see Mary moving from Manson Mesa over to Desert View. Rich has left her with a lot of tools over there, so very excited that Mary gets the opportunity to continue to hone her skills as a professional. She did a great job at Manson Mesa. Will be forever gracious. A lot of gratitude to her for how far she's brought Manson Mesa along. So I do want to mention, Manson Mesa real quick about graduation. There's not a set time yet, but we'll get that to you. So recommendation by Mr. Wall and myself is to put Mary Stahl at Desert View.
Okay, any comments by the board? Okay. All in favor say aye and indicate thumbs up. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item C, hiring of Manson Mesa High School Principal and Director of PUSD ACES Program, Dr. Trina Hubble, for the 2020-2021 school year. This is an action item. I'll need a motion in a second.
I make a motion.
Motion and hire Dr. Trina Hubble for school principal and director of PSDB ACES program for school year 2020-21.
Thank you, Dee.
I second that motion.
And Desiree with a second. Thank you very much. I'd really like to hear a little bit of background on Dr. Trina Hubble. Sounds like an interesting hire, and I know you guys took that consideration with your team. And so, Dr. Varner.
Ms. Hubble has many, many years of administrative experience on the Navajo Nation. She's also, I believe she is Navajo, and very educated, as you can see, as her doctorate signifies that. I think Mr. Wallen has a little bit more information. He picked that hiring up about halfway through. So, Larry, you got anything to add about Ms. Hubble?
Mr. Wallen, you're going to have to unmute.
We can't hear you, Larry.
I forgot I have a second switch. How's that?
Better.
Okay. Dr. Hubble is an outstanding administrator. She was in Chinle. She helped move schools there to a B level. She's very well versed in beyond textbooks, PLCs, systems and organizational management, and will be a great asset to taking the Manson Mesa school and moving it from where it is, as Mary has done, and expanding it further as we go down the road. She's had multiple years as a middle school principal, junior high principal, middle school principal, and elementary principal.
Board, any questions? Thank you for the background on that. We appreciate that very much. Having a motion in a second, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye and indicate with your thumbs up.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Another hiring situation, Page Middle School Assistant Principal Teresa Robbins for the 2021 school year. Again, action item. I'll need a motion in a second.
I make a motion to approve the hiring of Page Middle School Assistant Principal Teresa Robbins for the 2020 to 2021 school year.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. Rob?
It's always exciting to hire one of our own, and Teresa's been a middle school teacher for a while, and this is a pathway she's chosen to take, and really appreciated to be able to work with her on her next step. But I didn't. That was a middle school hire, and there was a good hire, so I totally support the recommendation of Teresa Robbins as the assistant principal at Page Middle School.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments, board? All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll call for the vote. Everyone say aye and lift their thumb. Thank you. Aye.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda, spring 2020 graduation and fourth quarter grading recommendations. This is an action item. I'll need a motion in a second.
I make a motion to approve the recommended as submitted.
I second that motion.
We do have a motion and a second to accept the spring 2020 graduation and fourth quarter grade recommendations. Any discussion? Dr. Barner?
Thank you. Pay attention to your mute button there.
Thank you.
So again, as we did last meeting, we had to make some adjustments to the evaluation and 301 plan. We also have to make some adjustments to the grading recommendations. This document was created by several other districts. We researched and looked for good things, and then if you go further into it, we did talk about the some of the policy things in there. But as you look through the document where you see K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9, 12 in Manson Mesa, those are all our local grading practices that had to be adjusted to fulfill the policy. So this is kind of a one-time policy adjustment due to COVID. And my recommendation, and a lot of hard work has gone into this at the site level. My recommendation is to approve as submitted, to get through this difficult time this year. Any questions?
No questions? Okay, we do have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye and raise your thumb.
Aye.
Aye.
Good, thank you very much. We've got the next on the agenda, Page Community Wellness Coalition participation. And I'll just remind us that we did have this on a work study session. The unfortunate thing was it was one of the first ones we had publicly. And I think it was one of the toughest meetings I think we've ever been a part of, because we just couldn't get the mute buttons in control, and there was a lot of static and all those kind of things. And so I did ask to see if CJ Hansen could be here. He is the one who has actually sewn this agreement together. And what I would ask CJ to do once we move in second is just to explain how the school will be part of that particular grant, and so that we'll know our role. So anyway, this is an action item. I'll call for a motion in a second.
I make a motion to approve the Page Community Wellness Coalition participation.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. CJ, I see you there. Can you hear us okay? And hopefully this will be a little bit better format for us. And I see that you sent us kind of a one pager. So if maybe you could go through once again, just the overall objectives, and then how Page Unified School District can fulfill their role in this program.
Absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay?
You're really good. Thank you.
Great. Well, first, I just want to say this meeting is much better than the other one I was a part of. So you guys have come a long ways in a short time. Yeah, we're really excited about this grant. Just a little more background, maybe, just because maybe you can hear me a little better in this meeting. But, you know, the hospital, Encompass, and Canyonlands last year got together and wanted to do more things related to overall community wellness and health and well-being. And so we've worked together. We created this Community Wellness Coalition with different staff from all of our agencies that work together on these different community projects. And this grant actually popped up, and it looked like a great opportunity for us to really expand some of the work that committee does by focusing more on some, a community approach to looking at opioid use disorder and also substance abuse in general. So there are really three main components to the grant. There's prevention, there's treatment, and recovery. And so we've engaged a number of different community partners to fulfill different roles in those three areas. And, specifically for the school, we're really looking at some help with the prevention side, and really getting the support of the school to help us connect with young people, so that we can share information. And specifically, we want to kind of start a program that's a curriculum that's evidence-based, that shows, that kids that are involved in this program do well, and they're able to, either not engage in substance use, or they're able to overcome it later. We've looked at a number of different programs, and we found one that we really like. It's called the Strengthening Families Program. And it is something that we would purchase under this grant, and it would provide a number of different resources. And, the grant would actually pay for, the staff to do all these things. We just need the school to really kind of support it and get behind it, and allow us to have access to some of these kids that want to participate. Generally what we were thinking, and this is all open to, discussion and really figuring out what's going to work the best. But really looking at maybe some type of an after-school program or something like that. We don't want to take away from kids being in class necessarily. So, but I think there are lots of opportunities for us to engage in different ways, and that's really what this is all about, this whole program. And right now we've got the school district, we've got the hospital, we've got the police department, we've got Encompass,
the wellness,
Canyonlands, and also Faith Bible Church. They do a lot with youth that we're really excited about. They've got this 5th quarter program they do that's absolutely amazing. And, we'd like to see more of those types of activities to help young people stay involved, and doing some other things and keeping them away from some of the substance abuse activities they sometimes get involved in. So that's kind of a real general overview. We did submit the letter of commitment for you all to review and approve. That's one of the requirements of the grant, that we submit this with the application that's due on May 26th. And so we're hoping to get that done. Our plan right now is to submit on the 22nd if all goes well. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone may have at this point.
Board members have anything for CJ?
CJ, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I know that Dee McCary did mention something about cultural, tying in culture into all of this, as far as, majority of our students being Native American and whatnot in our school district. But more importantly, how is that tied into this grant?
So that's certainly a big part of it. We want everything that we do to be, culture, not only culturally, but linguistically, like appropriate for the kids that are being, that are a part of the program. And so we're very sensitive to that. I think all of the organizations that are involved have historically had a lot of emphasis on being culturally sensitive, and, trying to be in tune with how different things are received in different cultures, and maybe what works well in one culture that maybe not in another culture. And so we are very aware of that, and we'll work to develop a curriculum and a program that is culturally appropriate for the kids involved.
Another question for you. So how is you said this would be an after school program, but is that students will be invited, or is it just primarily up to the family or students to attend?
Yeah, so there are a number of different things that could happen. Initially we're thinking, and a lot of these details still need to be worked through, once we really get moving on this program. But initially we're thinking that, some of this would be voluntary, for some of these activities. When we start to move past prevention and we're looking more at some of the treatment and recovery functions, then it starts to go a little bit further. That's a little more than just an after-school program. We definitely have to engage, families and we try to create some peer support groups and, different things like that that have been proven to be successful in treating some of these things. So, but on the prevention side, I think initially with this curriculum that we would like to implement, it would be kind of a voluntary thing. We would try to promote it and try to generate a lot of interest in it, to get kids involved. And it certainly wouldn't be anything mandatory unless the school had some desire, like if you had certain kids that you wanted to be a part of that, you really wanted to, do something along those lines. I'm not quite sure, what the school may or may not want to do with regard to that, but we would love to have, as many people involved as we could get, so.
Any other questions? Yeah, Ms. McCary.
Yes.
Sorry, I can't hear that.
I had it out there. Okay, my question is, how different is this with the present programs that are being offered to the students or additional?
I think that this would really expand what we're doing. We're really kind of scratching the surface, if you will, with some of the programs that we're offering. I think this is really more of an effort to create a more broad community approach to treating these conditions and helping people that may be affected by opioid use disorder or substance use disorder. So I think we're really expanding that and bringing more resources to the table to really help provide the support that people need to be successful in, recovering from substance abuse or even just prevention in general, keeping kids away from substances to begin with. So
I know such as this, the services are just very welcoming with our students of what we had to deal with all this school year. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Any other comments? I'll just say this. I mean, CJ, it's rare that we take an agreement that doesn't really detail exactly what. So that's why we're asking these questions. And we do know that you're in the process of getting the grant put together. And once the grant is put together, what's your anticipation for your timeline to start working with all of the different partners to really nail down the specifics of requirements and time? And just like, Desiree was asking, there's some specifics that we're going to have to know, and some commitment of our time, our students' time, and those. So those are going to be really important once we get to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of that work will take place once the grant is awarded and we get the program director in place. They'll really engage all of the partners, probably get them together in some meetings and kind of hash out more of the details about what specifically this looks like and, how things are going to work exactly. Our goal at this point is to have enough information and commitment from the community that we can put a successful grant application together and get the resources here that we can then invest. Our goal really is to, while we would be the fiscal agent, we really want to share, some of those dollars with everybody that's participating to help support some of the efforts that they're engaged in, around substance use. And so, we really want to support and expand that through this program. And we felt like this would be a really good opportunity to do that. But I do think it will take, several meetings, and we'll have to have somebody from the school that's really that main contact person that's really going to engage with this group, to help us iron out, what that looks like exactly, or what concerns we need to be aware of. And, we certainly don't want to ask anything of the district that they're not comfortable with, or and we certainly wouldn't put you in that position. So we're very sensitive to that as well.
Well, I think what you've heard intuitively for every one of us, this is the core of one of the most one of the hottest issues in the United States going right now, and it's just opioid. We certainly have our share of abuse, and so the community does too. So as much as we can do, we will. So I still would like, do you have an idea about what your timeline might be?
Well, again, I think it all depends on when the grant gets awarded. All of these deadlines have been delayed a little bit with the COVID-19 virus. So, this grant was originally due last month and they pushed that out to this month. So we don't expect to hear on this grant for a couple of months, but we would hope to hear something on that this summer and then really get to work so that we can start some of these activities as we move into the next school year.
Okay, thank you. That gives us kind of a little bit of a heads up and understanding that time at this point is a non-entity. None of us are really, we'll all be guessing. So CJ, appreciate your time here. Any other comments for CJ?
Just for one, once again, just a thank you to CJ and the teams. This will really support our kids in the school. And we know the big concerns across the country. And we may be a small rural area, but we know it's evidence here. And so once again, this is a great effort of a community to take care of our kids. Thank you, CJ.
Thanks, Ed. All right, we've had comments. We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor say aye and indicate with your thumb up. Aye.
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 Okay, thank you very much. Next item is an action item. Annual salary increases for age-unified school district employees. This is an action item. I need a motion.
There we are. I make a motion to approve the annual salary increase for PUSC employees.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Dr. Werner.
Well, we've been working on this since February when we start looking at the budget. Unbeknownst to us about the COVID-19 at that time, at least not to the extent that we faced it. So we've been carving out. This is the third year of the governor's promise to the teachers of a 20% raise over the last 3 years, and this is the last 5% that he's committed to. So my recommendation is 5% to all certified professional staff, a 3% raise to administrators, directors, and coordinators, and 50-cent an hour raise with the classified staff. And all those groups have been supportive of those raises going forward. So awesome opportunity, and our budget, as you see, can support that moving forward as well.
Any questions? Having none, I'll call for the vote. Everyone in favor say aye and indicate by raising your thumb.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda is the 2020 political agenda. And Lynn was able to send that out to everybody. This is an action item. I need a motion and a second, please.
I make a motion to approve the ASBA 2020 oh my goodness, political agenda.
Thank you, Des.
I'll second that motion.
We do have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Let me just say that they're actually putting forward the things that we talked about last year. And the one thing I was looking for and hoping for was to be able to roll in the need for rural schools or other schools. They can be urban, but that have the needs to be able to adequately and equitably serve all of our kids on online platforms or whatever way we can. So I think I saw something in that if you look at all four of the issues, adequately and equitably fund district schools to at least the national median per pupil funding. The second was preserve and strengthen local control. The third, improve outcomes for all students. Fourth, require public accountability for taxpayer dollars spent on education. So those would be the items if we agree to push them forward. And I think we can maybe roll in outcomes for all students in terms of equity and those kind of things. And hopefully, again, advocate for just working hard at getting equal platforms for everybody. So any other comments by the board or any changes or things that you'd like to see?
No, but I'm excited to see what this will bring for our school districts and also across the state for the Arizona School Board Association.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye and indicate your yes vote by raising your thumb. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda is the governing board meeting calendar for 2020, 2021. And this is an action item. I'll need a motion in a second. I need a motion from somebody.
Bob, is this item H?
I didn't hear that. What?
I make a motion to approve. Hold on, let's see. The governing board meeting calendar for the 2020 through 2021 school year.
Okay. Desiree with the motion and Dee with the second. The calendar is provided for you. I'll see if I'm on. Oh, I'm okay. You can see our meeting calendar throughout the school year through June of 2021. Any comments from anybody? Does everything look?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
So I belong to the Coppermine community out on the reservation, and our Coppermine chapter meetings usually fall on the same night of our board meetings. Just putting it out there that I like to be a part of our community chapter meetings, because I think it is definitely important for us as board members to be acquainted with our chapter houses again. There's 5 chapter houses within our school district, but I just wanted to make that known.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. You know, some of the tough things we have to do is make some choices. And when you're an elected official, you have a choice. So appreciate
No,
you.
I totally understand, but
Right,
I just
right.
think that we need to have, you know, partnership with our community
Oh, yeah,
chapter
absolutely.
houses and so forth. But
Right.
again, I
No,
understand.
And I appreciate the sentiment because what you have said is very, very important for us. And hopefully we're taking that opportunity other than on board meeting nights. So thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Future agenda items. It says none. Do we have a calendar for that?
Did we need to vote on the other one first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I run past that? I apologize. Point of order.
Point of order.
So we have a motion and a second on item number I. And all in favor, say aye and raise your thumb indicating yay.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Okay, future agenda items, it says none, but we have,
Actually, there is a list uploaded.
okay,
I'm sorry, I didn't print that out.
if you have agenda items you would like to have inserted for us to have conversation, whether it be for regular meetings or for work study sessions, go ahead and let Lynn know, let myself know. And we can work on getting those things done. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and follow up on 2 items that.
Yes, ma'am.
With Lynn after the meeting.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else?
That's it.
All right, item number 11. Someone's got to take my spot. Hit it hard.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Mr. Franklin makes the motion to adjourn. Dee seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Board members, thank you. CJ, Vindy, thank you for your participation this evening.